Hi, folks. This is Joe Hawranek of Raven Geopol News. I have a little Raven alert here, and the title is "China is a Greater Menace Than Russia." And my reason for writing this or stating this is that the press is filled with Russia, 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 as if Russia is America's greatest adversary. They're not, and it's misleading. Let's look at the facts. When we do, we see that China is our adversary since they have taken upon themselves the task of displacing America in every field. Okay? They want to be the world leader and are working towards that with their programs. The Chinese Belt Road Initiative, Chinese backing of the yuan with gold, they're bringing in tens of thousands of tons a year. Uh, uh, you can get gold at any bank in China to replace your yuan. Just say, here's $100. Give me the amount of gold equivalent of that. You can't do that in the United States. Chinese aggressively military actions in Southeast Asia with their islands and aggressive naval tactics. Chinese financial centers around the world to exchange yuan for any currency and to sell Chinese bonds. Okay, they're coming after the United States. In addition, China is suppressing its own people by enforcing its communist central government down their throats. Uh, this is a dictatorship. It's Chinese communism. Hong Kong, the riots protest that China is taking Taiwanese residents to China for trial in an arbitrary Chinese communist court on the mainland. The Hong Kongese don't want that. We're supposed to be independent, democratically controlled state. That was the agreement we had for 99 years. The Uyghurs, 1 million Muslims are in re-education camps learning that the central government of China is more important than Allah, their God. They don't believe it, but they're going to stay there in those concentration camps until China forces them to at least agree to it. Whether they agree or not is important. They can't get out in the economy and out of those camps until they comply to the government's dictates. In addition, China throughout Southeast Asia has had started building fortified islands, and then they fortify them with the military installations, and they're in the jurisdictional territory of the Philippines and Vietnam, other countries. In June, China sank a Philippine fishing boat and left the 22 sailors to die. A Vietnamese fishing boat picked them up. They threatened Taiwan very closely they said, if you try to declare independence, there's going to be a war and we're going to take you over, okay? Further, they've been actively attacking U.S. trade against WTO rules and international rules. Mr. Navarro, a White House aide to Trump, delineates 7 major areas that have been attacking American trade. 1, China steals intellectual property via cyber theft. They have no qualms about stealing information from their adversaries. That's in their culture, okay? They don't believe in the Christian ethic of do it thou shalt not steal. China forces companies manufacturing in China to transfer technology, trade secrets. They have no qualms of saying, you want to produce over here? They give me your trade secrets, Intel, Motorola, or whatever it may be. I want to know how to manufacture those semiconductors also. 3, China hacks American and government computers. Recently they stole 22 million names from government computers with all the backgrounds, and these are all the people that applied for jobs in the federal government. So they know everything about even secret and top secret people. They dump goods into our markets to put American companies out of business. They clearly dumped steel and stuff like that over here, and that's the reason why we need tariffs. They subsidize Chinese firms to compete with U.S. firms. If they can't compete on one or other, they'll just give them money to say, okay, your expenses are now zero, but you go ahead and produce just a variable expense and compete against the United States because we want that business. They manipulate their currency. They just depreciated their yuan to 7 to 1 in order to offset 10% tariffs. And finally, they ship the fentanyl drugs to the United States, have been a major killer of Americans. And Trump is hot about this because his brother died of drug poisoning, and he has an emotional lockdown on drugs coming into this country, and good for him. The practices lead to a $400 billion balance of trade surplus for China, and China is unwilling to change its tactics, which were perfected during and the Clinton, Bush, and Obama eras. Say, hey, it was good for them, why not good for Trump? Because Trump is a different person. Trump is using tariffs as a threat to China. If they retaliate, it will not amount to much. The U.S. buys 5 times as much from China as China buys from the U.S. So they can put 10% tariffs on it. It won't affect us as much. The American press will not be quiet about the Russian theft of Hillary's emails, but ignores China because they have this lockdown on hating Trump, which is dumb, okay? Russia is a minor rival with a GDP that is like Italy's. And China is a major rival who's second in the world of GDP, and they're trying to approach and bypass the United States. If you want to see more analysis like this, check my website, www.ravengeopolnews, GEOPOL news.com. And I have about 200 articles out there. But with that, we'll just say until next time for a Raven Alert.